engine we adore is a really useful engine, you know, 'cause the Fat Controller, he told him so. Now he's got a punchline to call his very own. He's the really useful engine we adore. He's the one. He's the number one. Thomas the Tank Engine. He's the really useful engine we adore.
Philip, the box cab diesel, is a young and sprightly engine with a great sense of humor who is confident and playful. His behavior can be annoying to some of the other engines like Gordon and Murdoch, while some engines like Thomas and Percy thought he was great. Philip's job on the island of Soda is to shun cars and coaches in the yard as Napper's new station pilot. And pretty soon, he was enjoying it and wouldn't trade it for anything else. One day, Philip was working very hard at Napper Yard getting the engine's trains ready. He noticed Harvey and Samson not too far away. Philip was so distracted that he wasn't watching where he was going, and he nearly ran into Hank, who was resting at Napper's sheds. "Whoa, little Philip," he said. "Watch where you're going." "Oh, sorry, Hank. Didn't mean to disturb you or anything. Going back to work now." And even though Philip was a new station pilot for Napper for Stafford, he is still learning his way around. As soon as Philip got to Napford Station, he shunned the cars onto the platform and immediately got back to working in the yard. Now to get the express coaches for Golden. I wonder where they're at. Aha! There they are. I think they're the express coaches. Pretty soon, Philip shunted all the trains onto the platforms and immediately got back to work in the yard. However, though, they were the wrong trains, as Gordon and Fergus arrived for their trains and noticed this. "What are Annie and Clarabelle doing here?" asked Gordon. "The express coaches should be here, not them. And these trucks here are full of barrels of diesel oil," added Fergus. "And I'm supposed to be taking coal cars to Vickerstown." Just then, Philip rolled in. "Oh dear," he said. "Did I get your trains wrong or anything? Don't worry, I'll fix this up immediately." By the time Philip shunted the correct trains onto the platforms, Gordon and Fergus were late getting out of the station. That night, Gordon was cross about Philip. "That silly little diesel," he muttered. "He shunted Annie and Clarabelle on my platform at Napford, thinking that they are express coaches even though they're not." "Don't be too hard on Philip," said Edward. "He's a new engine, and he's still learning. And as time flies by, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a great pilot for Napford." But Gordon didn't reply. He just closed his eyes and fell asleep, hoping that Philip won't be making any more mistakes tomorrow. The next morning, Philip was once again ready to work at Napford Yard. "I must do better this time," he said to himself. Philip began to increase speed as he went through Napford's sheds. "Slow down, Philip," shouted Douglas. "There's some freight cars in front of you." And Douglas was right. Philip saw the freight cars in front of him, but unfortunately he couldn't stop in time. He bumped them with a giant bash, and then there was a huge crash. Philip had shoved the freight cars off the track and into Henry, who was leaving Timothy's sheds, knocking him off the rails. And the other engines were very surprised. "Oh no," murmured Philip. "What have I done? I made a huge mess." "I'm sorry, Henry, but I had to get out of here before Topham Hatt sees this." and Philip rolled away quickly. Luckily, Harvey was nearby and noticed this, so he immediately puffed away from filling up at the water tower to get a breakdown train to clean up the mess. As the accident was being cleaned up, Sir Tom had arrived on Winston, his inspection vehicle. He was cross. "Where is Philip?" he asked. "He has caused confusion and delay." "He rolled away because he didn't want to get into trouble," replied Gator. "Hopefully not too far away," added Harvey. "Then we should find him," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I want to have a word with him." "And we'll help," said Dennis, "but, except me. I'd rather stay here and take my all-day nap." "Oh no, Dennis," chuckled Sir Topham Hatt. "You'll be helping out too." Dennis groaned. "I'll go look on Thomas's branch line," said Gator. "And I'll look at Vickerstown," added Caitlin. "By the way, my coaches are there waiting for me." "Then I'll go to Wellsworth then," concluded Dennis. "After we get this accident cleaned up, that is." A few hours later, Caitlin arrived at Vickerstown Junction where Doug and Jeremy were talking to each other at the airport. "Excuse me," she asked politely, "but haven't you seen a little box cab diesel around here that's sped through?" "Nope, sorry," they replied. "We just got here." "Oh, okay, thanks anyway." And Caitlin continued on her way. Going all over Vickerstown, Caitlin asked many engines she could if they had seen Philip or not, but unfortunately, none of them had seen him. She finally gave up as she reached Vickerstown Station and coupled up to her coaches, and she sped off. Meanwhile, Gator was looking for Philip on Tom's branch line. He went up and over a bridge to get a better view, but unfortunately, no avail. Just then, Dennis rolled up. "Hello, Gator," he called from above. There were no signs of Philip on Edward's branch line, especially the docks and China Clay Works. So I decided to come here to see if you found Philip yet here on Thomas's branch line. "Have you found him yet?" "Not yet," Gator called back. Just then, Thomas puffed up. "Hello, Gator and Dennis," he whistled. "Are you two looking for Philip, the little box cab diesel?" "Yes, Thomas," replied Gator. "And have you seen him?" "I think we did," said Annie. "I saw him rolling down a line right past us. Right, Clarabelle?" "Oh, yes, indeed. And I think he said something about going to Vickerstown." "Then Vickerstown it is, then." "Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Annie and Clarabelle. Come on, Gator." "Let's go to Vickerstown." "Yes, Dennis," replied Gator. "Vickerstown it is." "See you around, Thomas." Later on, Gator and Dennis arrived at Vickerstown sheds where other engines were hanging out. "Excuse me," asked Dennis, "but have you seen a little box cab diesel around here?" "I don't think so," replied Samson. "Caitlin told us that too earlier. And we told her that we haven't seen any box cab diesels around Vickerstown." "Oh," said Gator. "But you can try looking behind Vickerstown sheds, though," said Molly, "even though barely any engines go in that direction." "Okay, thanks, Molly. Come on, Gator. Let's go look for Philip on that line." As Gator and Dennis entered the back of Vickerstown sheds, they accidentally bumped a freight car in front of them. It rolled into some buffers and vanished into thin air. But in front of Dennis and Gator was Philip. "Philip!" cried Dennis. "We found you! We've been looking all over for you! And why are you here?" "Dennis, Gator, you found me! Well, you see..." And Philip told Dennis and Gator everything. Dennis and Gator felt sorry for Philip. "But the most important thing is that you are okay. Anyways, you guys see that?" "See what?" "That coal cart that Gator and I accidentally bumped into onto the siding." "What coal cart, Dennis?" "That coal cart that we..." Ugh, never mind. It must have been something that I imagined all of a sudden. Anyways, let's get you back, Philip. Sir Tom has waiting for us there. Philip smiled as he, Dennis, and Gator rolled back to Napper Station. An engine rolled up and stopped. Well, well, well. It looks like 3 engines have found the magic buffers. They're located here behind Vickerstown sheds. Now we'll know where those buffers are, and Diesel 10 will be so proud of us. And pretty soon, Sodor will be ours. And it's all thanks to my brother Dennis. And the engine rolled onto the siding and totally vanished at the end of the buffers.